Testing, testing one, two. Yep. All right. Good morning. Good morning, YouTube. It's been a minute. Um, Apologies for my absence. Uh, but sometimes life gets in the way. That doesn't mean we give up on our dreams, right? So this is why I'm back doing this here. Um, just because I missed y'all. Even though I don't really have that much of an audience. I just love doing this. So today is Monday, January 5th, as you can see down here. Look down here, right there. Uh, this is pre-market, so we're just observing price right now. I have this level marked off on the 5-minute chart, which is where I'm pretty confident price is going to gravitate towards this high, take this out, and then I have this inefficiency. I would like to see, how it behaves in there. This, we'll see if I utilize that later on. But for right now, you don't need to concern yourself with what that is. But I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff today that I haven't shown a lot of people ever. And that's just because I've always just kept it to myself. Never had the desire to, tell anybody all this stuff. So what I have here is I have a bunch of my layouts that I have. And I know you can't see them because I don't have the screen extended that far up, but on top where, you have all your tabs, I have a bunch of tabs with all my layouts. I got a layout there, and you can see these layouts are labeled ORG right there. This one's labeled Go To. This one's labeled Naked. This one's labeled Midnight Open. This one's labeled Confluences. Let's see. And the last one is labeled Levels, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Levels. So with all these layouts, I get a good view of, a lot of PD arrays and levels and price where it's very, very sensitive. And so when I sit down in the morning, this is what I do. I toggle through these layouts and I see where price has keyed off on these levels overnight, or where are they keying off on right now. Like right here, this level, probably wondering what that is, and you had a nice reaction out of there. If we go to a daily chart, and I've actually labeled it so you can see it, but we have this daily wick right here, and I treat wicks as gaps. I think I've mentioned that before. So just like an inefficiency, there are so we have downward movement. We do have both downward and upward movement. So if we do have downward and upward movement, then for the most part, this is a balanced price range. But there are inefficiencies in here, which is why we see it trading up. So we have lower quadrant, we have the midpoint, and then we have the upper quadrant right here. Now, I have a soft bias this morning. It's a Monday. It's NFP week. So in that sense, I'm on more high alert. And if I decide to take a trade, my leverage is going to be dialed back. What I'll do is if I decide to take a trade, I might do it on paper here on this. just because like I've mentioned before, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't want to get in trouble for anything. Um, I don't know. I might not even tell y'all if I'm going to take a trade or not. Uh, if you might be able to tell in my voice by the, way I say price action, but I don't know. Anyways, so soft bias this morning. Um, I would like to see bearishness, um, and I'll explain to you why. So it looks like we have already, yep, we just swept that 5 minute liquidity right there that I showed you on the 5 minute chart, and now we're getting into that bearish fair value gap. Probably random. But what did it leave down here? Left this open, left this open. And so when I see something like this happen pre-market, I automatically just think of everybody that's waking up right now and seeing this run, and they're kicking themselves that they couldn't get in right here. And then they decide that, once it opens up and, they're thinking it's going to come up here, they're going to enter up here, but it's not going to come down here. So what is my mind thinking right now? There's a bunch of stops right there. There's a bunch of stops right there. Also, I was looking at this chart. So from 7 o'clock, which is the start of the morning session basically, to 9 o'clock right here, we have this range from this high to this low. Now, it's already been broken to the upside. If we want to, if it's bullish, what would we want to see? Would we want to see it come back down here and then fail? Or would we want to see it come back down here and show strength? We'd want to see it show strength. So we'll see what happens. But that's the reason why I have these two prices marked out, because this is the highest point at the beginning of the morning session until now. And then this is the lowest. You can see where I'm going with this, right? Hopefully. If not, I'll explain it once market opens up. Anyway, so this one, ORG, that's opening range gap. That's what that stands for. And that is where we settled on Friday at 4:59, right there. You can see I have it marked out. Once the market opens up, I will I'll put a box like I have, with these. But for now, just so I know where it is when I switch back to electronic trading hours, that's the reason why I have a line right there for right now. But as we can see, took this liquidity. In a perfect world, I would love to see it come up to this green box. But it doesn't have to. And if it just comes up to here, I'm fine with that also. If you want to know what this purple box is, it's a weekly volume imbalance right here on the weekly chart. Today's Monday, so I have the bulk of my confluences on my naked chart. Even though it says naked, I know it's not naked. I have the bulk of my confluences on higher time frames, because on Mondays I demand a lot more from price than maybe on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, just because Monday, if we understand the formation of a candlestick, the manipulation, accumulation, and distribution, if we're bearish on a week, we want to see it trade up and then come back down to its opening price from the week, and then accumulate around there, and then distribute, their short positions, throughout the rest of the week. So Excuse me, real quick. I need to run to the bathroom. All right, apologies about that, folks. I had to get some coffee as well. So, I was starting to say about what I like to see on the weekly chart, on Mondays and stuff like that. It is NFP week also. So, we are being extra cautious, if you want to call it that. The daily coming up to that midpoint of that wick, driving deeper into that 5-minute bearish fair value gap right there. Hourly. So we have this huge, huge inefficiency right here. So I like this right here, this inefficiency, and I will mark that as well. Because if it can trade up to there, I'd like to see that act as an inversion level, which means originally this was a bullish fair value gap. And as we can see, it sort of sent price to the upside, but then it was a false breakout. Which happens a lot because, you see these equal level highs right here, and all the retail is like, oh, I'm a bull, we got this liquidity and this liquidity, and this all up here, and it's at the end of the year, we're gonna have a pump. Yeah, all right, cool. Now, can it still do that? Absolutely, but that's not what my analysis would tell me. But anything could happen. And that's why we never demand anything. We always just read price and develop our, bias narrative plan for the day based on what we see in the charts. And if you start to see, what you would like to see pan out, then, and only then, that is when I would say it would be necessary to actually speculate on this. But if you don't know where it's going, that's the first part. Just know where it's gravitating towards, because that is about half the battle. Because if you don't know where it's going, you're just going to be looking for patterns for pattern's sake, and you're going to beat yourself up, Now, you might be right 2, 3, 4 times, but by then, you've already, done the damage, both mentally and monetarily. So rather than guessing, just wait. Okay, so we got about a little bit, 15 minutes. About 15 minutes left. Okay, see that? Okay. I like this level right here also, because on the weekly chart. And if you haven't watched my previous videos, everything that I am, everything that I use as far as when it comes to strategy wise, trading wise, is based off of ICT concepts, smart money concepts. So whenever I use the language, the lingo, that's, what I'm referring to. So if you don't understand something, either drop a comment and I will try to explain it, or I will also link ICT's YouTube page, and you can go over to him and either try to figure out like which video, like I don't know if you can search a keyword for a video, but if I use something like a confluence that you don't understand, I promise you there is a video that ICT has on it. Like I said, I'm not sure how you're going to find it, but it's possible. Just watch them all. There's your solution. Just watch them all. So, I like this. So, for bearishness at least. So, just like I mentioned about a daily or a weekly candlestick formation, we want, manipulation, accumulation, and distribution. The same thing happens on a daily time frame. Price is fractal, which means that, it's the same across every time frame. It just looks a lot faster because the candles are painting more frequently on the lower time frames, but it's the same. So on the daily, so this is the midnight open layout that I have, which means the midnight opening price is labeled by this purple line, and it's a little bit thicker because we also have the 8:30 opening price. Those two prices are important to me because midnight starts the day for stock index futures. It's just what I was taught, and it's just what I use, and it works for me. If you want to use the actual opening price at 6 p.m., sure, okay. But I use the midnight opening price. So anyways, if we want to see bearishness, do we want it to trade down first, or we want it to trade up first? We want it to trade up first. And right here at 8:30, look what happens. And we come all the way close, and we don't even dip below it. So we come all the way close to it. We leave equal level lows, and then we rally. We rally where? Where do we rally? We rally towards that buy side liquidity that I said. Let's go into 1 minute. We rally toward this buy side liquidity, and we take this liquidity, and we drive into this fair value gap, this 5-minute fair value gap. What do we have above market price? What do we have as a premium array above market price? Well, we have this level right there, first of all, which is the midpoint of that daily wick. And then we have all of this layered. We have this box right here from this high to this low is the 5-minute bearish fair value gap. We have this level, which is this low to this high, which is the inversion fair value gap. I hope I'm doing that right. Yep, inversion fair value gap. And then we have this level, which is sort of a secret right now, but maybe by the end of the video I will expose it. Let me put it this way. If it uses it, like during the morning session, I'll explain it. Anyway, so we got about 11 minutes. So that's the reason why, like I said, I like to see this type of price action, for if I have a bearish bias. And it doesn't have to, like I said, pan out the way that I want to. Just because I say it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Nothing is, guaranteed within all this. Could it, come up here and then gravitate up towards these highs and back up here towards this liquidity? Because there is a lot of freaking liquidity up here. Yeah, it could. But I'm not willing to just throw away my original idea at first, at least. And once you get to the point where you're like, I really don't care what it does. It could go up, it could go down, it could follow my, plan, or it couldn't. Either way, I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm just chilling right now talking to y'all. And, I mean, for a lot of people, it's just, I have to get in here. I have to figure out what it's doing, and I have to make money from it. It's like, if you don't, then you're somehow less of a skilled trader, which is not the case. Don't feel like you have to prove to you or yourself or anybody that you can do this. I know if you're in here and you're looking at this, you're serious. So you don't need to prove to me you're about it. I know you're about it if you're doing this. Also, I like this because we're in the premium side of regular session from Friday. Because here's equilibrium right here. This is a discount. This is a premium. Here's this fair value gap. This is on the 15-minute time frame. If we go down to 5-minute, you can see it becomes a little bit more clear right there. Let's go back to the 15-minute time frame. So like that. Move this over here. Get that in the middle. Daily still around the wick. Like I said, we're in this daily volume imbalance also. You can see shaded from this high to this low, purple. I know it's layered. I know it's confusing right now. You don't need to know exactly everything about just know that, this is a layered confluence. Because, we have a lot of premium arrays that can be used to send price lower. And how low can it go? How low can it go? Like Luda. Anyways, stupid. So we go back out to the 1 hour. We see this right here. See this run right down there on Friday? 1 p.m. Takes out this low right here. Stops short of this daily. Oh no, 4 hour. Sorry. 4 hour inversion fair value gap. Now it does come down into this breaker, and it's using this breaker to send us higher. But I am not convinced that this thing is not going to stop right there. If we go back down to the 1 hour, that doesn't satisfy me as a run, as a stop run, because we still have this liquidity right down here, which is resting right above what level? Let's go back up to the week. right above the midpoint of this weekly wick, which is a discount wick. So now you see where, Mondays can cause a lot of, you know, give and take back and forth, contradiction of what your initial plan is. So that's why I demand a lot more information on Mondays. Um, and like I said, for the people that just woke up 23 minutes ago, they're looking at this thinking, oh man, this thing's traveled. Bunch going up. Oh, and look, it dipped down right there into this fair value gap right here. So, and now okay, so the bias must be bullish. Okay, we'll see. And it can be. It could be. It could be bullish today. It could scream up. It could go all the way to all-time highs today. It could. And I wouldn't be part of it. There is going to have to be a lot of evidence to show me, to get me into other than a scalp, like if I'm trying to trade the daily range and my bias is bearish, I'm not going to flip it and try to get the daily range on the opposite side if I was wrong. Because more than likely, if I have an original bias and it's completely the opposite of what the day is going to be, and I get it wrong. I do get it wrong. I get it wrong probably 30% of the time. I'm right about 70% of the time. But 3 out of 10 times, I don't get it right. And if that's the case, and I'm trying to trade the daily range, which is one of my goals, I want to make sure, I capture, a good portion of the move that is going to occur during the day. Then, like I said, if my bias is wrong, I won't try to do that on the opposite side. I might scalp or if I get a setup, I might scalp it, towards, the actual bias, just because, I mean, you can be flexible, but I'm gonna accept that, my original idea was wrong, and I'm not gonna try to completely, do the opposite and feel like, oh, it's gonna slam or it's gonna rally up forever now. No, I'm gonna be very cautious, and like I said, scalp. So in and out. So now it has hit the midpoint of that daily wick. And we got 3 minutes left. Let me go and run and do something real quick again, folks. Give me a second. Alrighty. Let's get this show on the road, man. I'll probably stay with y'all until get away. When do I? 10:30? An hour? Saying an hour? 11? We'll see. We'll see how good price action is today. Um, I was watching it before and it was doing what I was wanting to, so that leads, or that's reassuring, in my opinion. So 2 minutes. I'm gonna go to this chart, the opening range chart, opening range gap chart. because we're about to open up. I'm going to put it on regular trading hours so you can see. So regular trading hours, this is from 9:30, this one, or no, 9:30 right here, to 4:59, so, or 4:14, excuse me. We're going to go on the 1 minute, actually. So the closing price at 4:14, and wherever we open is what that gap is going to be. And around 70% of the time, you'll get about half of that gap closure within the first 30 minutes. So we're going to open up and we're going to have a premium opening range gap, which means we're going to open up higher than where we closed. So we'll see if it wants to gravitate towards, either the midpoint or fully close it. And so we'll monitor that. So less than a minute now. Man, there's nothing like coffee in the morning. I just started drinking coffee again. And I guess ingesting caffeine, and it's been interesting. All right, we're open. So there is that first printed price at 9:30. Like I said, so to measure the opening range gap, we take it from where we closed. If I can get it on there. Yeah. I'm going to struggle here for a second. Bear with me. Why isn't this thing catching? I got the magnet on. What is going on here? Right there. To right there, the opening price. So we have that right there. So this is the gap that we have for this morning. Actually, we're going to make it black. And I will put the middle line on there so you can visually see what I'm referring to, the midpoint. Right there. Oops. Right there. As you can see, it's dipping down into that. So we did stab up. Dog. Yeah. That's pretty insane, in my opinion. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. Y'all saw it live. Y'all saw it live. I had this level on my charts. Okay. So it comes up, hits that inversion fair value gap and that green shaded box that I had also, and immediately rejects it. And now it is sending us lower. Where can we gravitate to? Well, we have these lows, like I said, from this morning on this time frame. Yep, towards the 8:30 opening price. So no rush to get and go out there and do anything yet, folks. Because typically on Mondays that don't have any news events, and if we go to Forex Factory, come on. Oh, we do have news. So we have, oh wait, Tuesday, Monday. Okay, we do have news today. So we have news at 10 o'clock. So in my opinion, I'm not going to be looking to take a trade until after that. So right now, we will keep monitoring price. Like that. Sorry, my computer is glitching out for some reason. Comes up to the midpoint of the daily wick, hits that perfectly, or, oh no, it stopped short of it. But what do we have right here? We have a volume imbalance right here. So if we have a bearish bias and we see this and we see it can't even get up to it and we're expecting weakness, is that good or bad? It's good. So if we see this wick right here, we see it trade up. Can it get up even to the midpoint? It hasn't gotten up to the midpoint yet. I'm watching the midpoint, seeing if it can get up to it. If it can't get up to it, it's showing me that it's exceedingly weak. And if it can't get up to it, it should gravitate, towards right here, and then maybe explore down here and even down here. Yep, just like that. And you can take that trade. If that's your model, you can take that trade right there and be out. Boom. That's how many handles? If you enter right at this candle, and let's say you're keying off on this level right here, 25,606, let's just say that, and your aim is down here, 25,579. That's 30 handles, or a little bit. I don't even know how many is that. What'd I say? 25,606, and you're aiming for this fair value gap right there, which is what I said. 25,578. $28 handles, yeah, 30 handles. And there's a potential for more. So if that's your model, folks, in, partial, see if you can get more, and out. And you're done for the day, folks, within 20 seconds or 2 minutes, because it took 2 candles to get down here. I don't know about you, but if I can get in and get out in 2 seconds, shoot. Look at that. Comes up, hits that level right there, which is I was starting to show you, so I didn't finish explaining this. So that level is what this is. So on this weekly candle, since we close below this candle's opening price, this becomes an order block. So I have the opening price of this, and then I also have the range between this candle's high and this candle's low, or this candle's close and this candle's opening, just because we have this long wick, but the bulk of the sensitivity and price action is going to be in the bodies. So that's the reason why I measured it from here to here. But that is the midpoint right there, and that is what hit right there. So let's go back here. Let's go back to this. No, we want this one. So here we go again. Look, it's coming back up. We can see this wick right here. Watch this wick. See if it can still keep price at bay. If we can keep price at bay, it might want to still explore down here. Because like I said, we still have, they're not going to leave that right there. They're going to want to, like I said, take that liquidity. Okay. Now, what we haven't seen yet is first presented fair value gap. Now, I thought we were going to get it right here, but we didn't because of this wick. So we can't use that as a fair value gap. But like I said, if your model and strategy incorporates wicks, you could have used this. I don't like to use the term implied fair value gap, but if you want it, like that's almost what you use it as. Because, I mean, this, you're treating that you want to see sensitivity around the midpoint and the lower half of it. So if you do, that confirms that, this confluence is strong. So 8 minutes after the open, and it's done exactly what I had expected it to do. So it's probably random though. So it's having now it's trading below this volume imbalance. So what we should see, and now it's gravitating towards the middle of the opening range gap. I'm gonna take this line off. I don't know if I can do it without moving that. I'm gonna have to move that. Oh yeah. So once if this candle closes below this opening price, what I would like to see it do is not trade above the midpoint of this wick and gravitate towards the middle of the opening range gap. That's what I would like to see. I want it to stay heavy. But we do have these equal level highs right here, so could come up and sweep that. But like I said, in my opinion, I would more likely, probably side on this right now. Plus, everything is telling me this thing wants to go down. Yep. Now we're below this low. So now I'm watching this wick. Hold on, I'll go to another chart. I'm watching this wick now. And if it closes below more than halfway, like that, then now I want to see it. See, now it's getting closer. See, now I want to see it. Hold on, where's my fib? I want to see it stay below this area right here. I want to see it stay below there. And still gravitate towards. See, now we have the midnight opening, 8:30 opening price right there. And now we have the midpoint of the opening range gap. Okay, see how it hit the midpoint of that wick right there? Hold on. I'm watching that. Studying it. Okay, alrighty. So that tells me something. What does that tell me? Well, we took liquidity right here from the 8:30 opening price, or from right here, from these equal level lows. And we see a reaction up. What happened though? We stopped short of the 8:30 opening price. Now, when people see this, and they see this reaction, more than likely, if they do have this level on their chart, they're thinking, oh, it's got to be support. Because look, it can't get down to it. It took this, but it can't get down to it, so this must be a level of support right here. So what are they doing? They're buying it, or they're putting their stop losses right here and right there, below there. What does the market want to do? It wants to hurt as many people as possible. So, am I saying it's going to do it immediately? No, but in my opinion, that's where they're going to take it next, or eventually they're going to take it there. And they could do it, from the news. So we come back up into these two candles right there, which is a bearish order block. Like I said, I didn't want to see it close above this candle's wick, or the midpoint of this candle's wick. And it looks like we might be getting a deeper retracement now, which is fine. Like I said, we're not taking a trade right now. See how it didn't stay below the midpoint of that wick? That's the reason why I didn't. Like I said, I wanted to see it stay below there and gravitate lower. And since it didn't, look what it's doing now. Okay, so back up into the 5-minute bearish fair value gap. See how it hits this, what is that, the lower quadrant? Yeah, that's the lower quadrant of the daily wick, premium wick. But it was above market price at the time. And it will, yeah, when we started the day, it was above market price. Okay, see how, okay, now study this wick. Study this wick again. Like I said, look at that. Where does it go? Can't even get to the midpoint. See that? Can't even get to the midpoint. Takes this liquidity, take these equal level highs out. Okay. Study that wick. Study that midpoint. Study the lower. Study the lower quadrant and study the midpoint. Coming up on 9:50 to 10:10 macro, which means it's the last 10 minutes of an hour and the first 10 minutes of an hour, which is very impactful. Look at the hourly chart real quick. Yep. Let's look at the 15-minute. Yep. Look at the 5-minute. Yep. Okay. Now, what we see it doing right now is it's not staying below. Geez, I did it again. It's not staying below the midpoint of this wick. So is my interest, like I said, do I completely abandon this? No, but my interest, is lessened now because of it. So I'm going to take it off. And we could see it sweep this high again. We could see it just come back up into this volume balance. We could see it just hit the midpoint of this daily wick. I haven't taken a trade, folks. You don't feel like, and do we have a fair value gap, folks? No, we do not. So does that tell you, is that telling you right now that price action is clean or price action is dirty? In my opinion, it's telling you it's a little dirty. Now, if you don't know how to trade, if you do know how to trade, let me put it this way, then you can get in here and do stuff like I told you with the wick and stuff like that. But if you're panicking right now because you don't know what to do, chill out. You're fine. So here's the midpoint of the daily wick. Let's go back to the opening range gap real quick. So it stopped short of the midpoint of the opening range gap, and it's gravitating up towards the high of it now again. This, remember, if we just use it as, for what it is, this is the opening price at 9:30. So if this is the opening price at 9:30, would I want to see it trade up or trade down? Well, it did trade up. It did trade up, and it did go into these PD arrays that I had marked. Can it go up higher? It can definitely go up higher. Like I said, we're waiting till 10 o'clock news because we have a medium and a high impact. Okay. I like that it's staying below that midpoint of that wick. Yep. And now it's starting to gravitate a little lower. Look what happens here. Comes down. Does it come down and hit equilibrium? No, it stops right short. In my opinion, my conviction tells me they want to take it down there. They want to take it down here. And they want to take it to the midpoint of this opening range gap. That's what it's telling me. Excuse me for a second, folks. Let me put it this way. If we don't take out this high, if news doesn't take out this high, I'm confirming my bearishness. If it does take out this high, then I'm going to need more information. Okay, possibly we could have first presented fair value gap right here. Small, but nonetheless it is first presented. So I'm going to put it on this chart actually. And where is it occurring? It's occurring. No, come on, no. 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 Is it? Is he going to leave it open, folks? You want to gamble? Let's gamble. I say no. I say it's going to close that. Yep, right there. So nope, no fair value gap. But where is this occurring? Where did it come down to? Came down to the high of that pre-market high. Like I said, from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., this was the range. So it comes back down into the high of that range. And can it get down below it? Where does it go? This is going to be, y'all are going to be so mesmerized by this. Where does it go? All it does is goes to equilibrium, dips into a discount of the range made from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. A lot of these, runs are based off of, levels that are, it's price, folks. The levels that I have on here are price. None of this stuff that I have on my charts was an indicator that I bought or that I added onto my chart, because I do know people that sell indicators, but they're not all paid. And if you're paying for an indicator also, stop. Please stop. Unless it's significantly changing your performance in the market. Like I'm talking, you went from like losing 6 out of 10 trades. Like your win rate was 40% and now it's 70%. Like that much. Like it has to be a drastic change. So we're in the macro, first of all. We've started the first macro of morning session. So what have we done so far? Not much. Why? In my opinion, because news hasn't come out yet. So we had the run, we had the Judas swing, or we had a little bit of a Judas swing up into an area where we already had it pre-marked. Y'all saw it before. Stream or watch this video. Y'all all saw it. I had it marked. And where my bias was bearish, we said we wanted to see it, or I wanted to see it gravitate lower towards these lows, and ultimately middle of the opening range gap, and also below the 830 opening price. Now, when it comes to entries, folks, in my opinion, if I'm bearish, I want to be selling above or around either the 830 or midnight opening price, which is what this is. So, like I said, if news sends us lower and we have displacement on the downside, I'm still thinking, even if we take out this high, I'm going to treat that, unless, like I said, it just screams up, which I mean it can, but unless we have some, like I said, extreme bullish activity, which almost would lead me to believe that it's manipulation and it's price, it's actually the market makers doing it, because that's what news does. News is the ultimate casino, or like the ultimate game of roulette. It's the ultimate game of roulette. You can't predict that. I don't care. And you can say that I sound like, oh, so you're just saying that you're not able to do it. I've made money on news. Okay, consistent money. Every time news drops, you're like I said, are you treating news the same way that you are treating your original setup, like your regular setups? Are you calculating the risk correctly? Are you putting your stop loss in at the right area? Are you even using a stop loss? Because, in my opinion, if you're trading news, you're trying to capture something by luck. So, what's happened here? Come down below the high of pre-market session again. Can't get below it. But what are we building? What are we building? What's happened here? So we've had liquidity taken. We've also had liquidity taken here. It's come up into this order block 2 times. I like it. I like it using this order block like that. If it can get below this low, oh, here's your first presenter for value gap, folks. Sorry if y'all were screaming at me saying, it's there. I apologize, I just now saw. Is that a volume imbalance? Yeah, it's a volume imbalance. So, fair value gap from here, from this candle's low, to this candle's close, because this is volume imbalance right here, so we do have to incorporate that. And I'm going to make it an obnoxious color, so yellow. Yeah. And I'm not going to do the middle line. Okay. There we go. So we got 4 minutes till news drops. Oh, golly, my back is sore, folks. I don't know why. Probably because I'm a day trader and I sit in a chair for hours upon hours, staring at a screen. No wonder why my back hurts. I don't want to talk to you. Leave me alone. So, comes back up where? Midpoint of the daily wick. Gravitates down towards the bottom of this daily volume imbalance. Rallies back up above the original buy side that I had marked out on the 5-minute. I said, this buy side that I had originally marked out on the 5-minute. Gravitating towards that. Comes up, back, like I said, back up to the midpoint of the daily wick. Retraces. Comes back up. Can it get up to the midpoint? No. So, what is that letting me know? If I'm bearish, it's letting me know it is weak. We also have this rejection block right here, which is the wick above this candle's close right here. Hits that perfectly right there. We have it, if it closes below the first presented fair value gap, what I would like to see is it come up. I'll go to this chart now. I would like to see it come up and touch that fair value gap. I need it to close further down than that. Yeah. Yep, I like that. Okay. Still not in a rush, folks. I mean, look what's happened. From 9:30, what's happened? Rally, drop, created a range. Now we're inside the range. From this candle's high to this candle's low. Here's the range that we're in so far. And it's come up into a premium twice. And now it's starting to fall, starting to roll over, which is exactly what, you know, I would prefer. I said anything could happen on news, folks. So if you are in the market right now, if you're short from right here, like if you nailed that, if you like had this on your chart like I did, and you shorted that, take something off. Like maybe not. Like I'm not gonna ever tell somebody to close their position out, but if you hadn't taken something off, at least down below these lows, man. If you hadn't taken something off below here, dude, what are you doing? Take something off. We got 10 seconds, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Here we go. Okay. Okay. All right, it's back above the first presented fair value gap. It's inside this volume imbalance, if you can see that. If you all caught that on the chart. I'll zoom in a little bit. Okay. Yep. It's good. Now, I still don't like the fact that it hadn't come up, stayed inside it, and then shown a willingness to roll over. So in that sense, I'm still sitting still because this is all dirty in my opinion. Oh, see, now we have a little pump right there off of the. Oh, 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 I'm sorry, folks. I was early. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. I bet y'all were watching this being like, hey, buddy, that's not the news candle. Oh shit, my bad, folks. Anyways, so now news is dropped. Oh my gosh, I feel so embarrassed now. Anyways, um, so now it's still making an attempt to get above the first presented fair value gap. Now, if it can't, and I still would like to see it take some type of liquidity here, but if it can't, and it shows displacement like that, and creates a fair value gap like that, I'd expect it to gravitate towards this. Because that's where everybody from pre-market is still long, or that's where they have their stop losses. See, it's still wicking like that, which I don't like. So that's why we just do nothing. Y'all like this price action? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Because I don't. This is the stuff that I don't like to trade. I still don't like this. It seems like it's too clean for me. Remember, still haven't gotten to the midpoint of the opening range gap. It's 10 o'clock. Usually 70% of the time it does hit this by 10 o'clock. It has not done that. Midnight, 8:30 opening price, midnight opening price. Equilibrium of regular trading hour session from yesterday, from Friday. And new week opening gap from, when was this? I don't know what day this is. Oh, I don't have the date marked out. I'd have to go look at my my notepad, but I don't want to right now. Okay, so gravitating back up towards volume imbalance, midpoint of the daily wick. Okay. Didn't take out this high yet. And does it have to? No. Will I think it will? Yeah. But things happen. You know, if you're on side, like say your bias is bearish like it is for me, and let's say this thing doesn't take out that high, even though it could. Like that. Would I treat that as uh, good or bad? In my opinion, I would treat that as good. Because if it comes back up into that daily wick halfway point, midpoint, and then it can't get above it again, that's showing me that it's weak. But right now, it's not showing me it's very weak. But, like I said, we have the opening range defined from here to here, which is the highest high from 9:30 and the lowest low from 9:30 to 10 o'clock. It's the highest high and the lowest low from 9:30 to 10 o'clock, the first 30 minutes. So this is the range that we're in right now. Like I said, I marked it out on this chart, and I said, here's the range. Just like that. So as far as when it comes to a discount and premium standpoint, where are we? As far as the range goes, we're in a premium. I said this thing could just chop it up and gravitate higher for the rest of the morning. It's done, you know, a good, like, that's enough for people to be profitable. And they don't like for people to be profitable in this thing. So they're gonna, like, give as little back to the traders as they possibly can. So came back up to the midpoint of daily wick. Stop short of this inversion fair value gap. Let me give me a second. Alrighty, so let's see here. Still comes up, hits the midpoint of the daily wick again. See how it's using these levels on the higher time frames? I mean, everybody's trying to key off on, you know, the smaller time frame confluences, like probably this fair value gap and I don't know, this fair value gap, which I mean is sort of right in a sense. But to get the plot of the day, like the day, if you're going to be a day trader, you got to look at the higher time frames. And that is where you have to base your idea off of. And you can't get like you can't abandon it if something like this happens. Like, was I expecting, it to rally up this far? No. Did I know it was going to rally this far? No. Am I still not sure if it's, not going to take out this high? No, I'm still not sure. I'm waiting for price to show me a willingness to gravitate lower, which is my bias. And right now, is it showing a willingness? No, it's not. We're still in the premium side of the opening range. So everything is fine. We are fine. There is no reason to be stressed and feel like, we've already missed it. We haven't missed anything yet. Because even if this thing does go up, and it is, like I said, the bias of the morning is, a bullish bias. I mean, does this make sense? Would it make sense to go long from overnight? Not in my opinion. Does not make sense. Especially when the higher time frame is telling me or showing me that this thing it doesn't want it. Well, it shouldn't. It's too expensive. Let me put it that way. It's too expensive for me to buy it. And if it's too expensive, I'm not going to buy it. Okay, so it's 10:10. Sorry. I have to remember I'm in Central Time, but the markets obviously are in Eastern Time. So it's 10:10. That is the end of the first macro of morning session. We're still right around the midpoint of the daily wick. Came back up into this hourly inversion for value gap that I would like to see it keep price at bay, which is exactly what it's doing here right now. Let's see here. Yep. Watch if it can get below this low. If it can get below this low, see if it can gravitate towards this low, this low, this low, and ultimately down here. But it hasn't gotten below this low yet. A lot of nothing. Because where's the opening price? Opening price is right here. Let me go back to the opening range gap. Opening range gap. Where are we gravitating towards? We're gravitating towards the opening price at 930. If we are bearish, we prefer to be selling above or below the opening price of the 830 and midnight candle. But we're already above that. So we're good. So what's next? The 930 opening price. Now we've traded above it here, and we've traded above it here. And it hasn't shown too much of a willingness to go much higher. And it can. It still can. It could come up here and hit that opening range gap, which is an old opening range gap. It can 100% do that. But that's not my bias. That's not my model. That's not my plan right now. So, starting to roll over here. What? Oh, geez, I didn't mean to do that. What I would like to see it do, is, like I said, see if it can't get below this low. And if it can, I want to see it gravitate towards these lows, this low, and ultimately down here. And if it gets down here, how much lower can it go? Let me see. Yeah, we said right there. So where's this low? This low is right there. Where's that on higher time frame? It's right there. 15 minutes. So we have this low is lower than that one. So, I do like a lot of this liquidity right here. And this whole run that we had overnight or yesterday, suspect to me. Still gravitating up around that inversion fair value gap. So if you were short from this morning, right here, and you had not taken anything off, even on the news, you're like, nah, it's going lower. How are you feeling right now? You could be feeling great. If you're feeling great, awesome. If you're confident like this thing's going to roll over, good. Keep that, because that's how you should feel. Because if you don't feel like that, then why are you in the trade? Not to just see what happens. We're not in this to see what happens. We're in this to legitimately predict the future. That's as plain as I can put it. Predict the future. Okay. Back up into the inversion fair value gap. Let's see if it wants to take that high. Yep, take that high. Let's see if it wants to either gravitate towards, I like that. I like that. So that is a signature to me. So that, to me, was a stop run up to the rejection block right there. And now look what it's doing. Let's see if we can get some displacement. If we can get some displacement, this could be a potential setup. But, like I said, nothing yet. And we're not in any rush. But I did like that. See if we can let's see if we can get below. Like I said, I still want to see it get below these lows right here. I think they're equal level also. No, they're not. But I still want to see it get below this low because this is a swing low. And if it gets below this swing low, no, it doesn't look like it. Looks like it still wants to gravitate up towards, which is fine. That's the thing. Am I panicking or am I so like, oh gosh, it's not going down. Please. Please go down. I want to get a trade in so bad. Am I like that? No. Okay. Take this liquidity. Still hovering around the opening price of 930. Like I said, this is still, like I said, everybody could be, being like, or people going into today could have had the same bias as me. They could have gone into the day thinking, oh, yeah, this thing should go down. And they could have been looking for a setup. And now that they see what it's doing here right now, they could have already abandoned that idea. And so what did they do? Or what are they doing now? They're looking for a place to go long. And if they're looking for a place to go long, and if the bias is still bearish and it hasn't, like I said, the move actually hasn't started or happened yet, they're just wanting, they're trying to entice people to get into the market so they can hurt them, because they're thinking to themselves, dude, it hasn't gone down yet, and it's 10:17. We're getting late into the morning session, and it hasn't, and what I want to see happen hasn't happened. So rather than be patient and stay with my original idea, I want to get in here and do something. So I'm going to buy it. And I'll find a place to buy it at. and we'll see what happens, just like that. And the reason why I say that is because that's the way I used to think. I used to think that exact same way. I used to think, you know, I've waited long enough for my original idea to pan out, and it hasn't. So I'm going to switch, which isn't always a good idea. Sometimes it is, because, like I said, if you're wrong and you do, and you're flexible and you're a experienced trader and you can do that, sure. But if you can't do that, then it's better just to stay out altogether, which is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stay out because I don't want this going up. I don't want it going up. I really don't. And the good news is, this isn't the end of the world. I mean, it's 10:19. Like, obviously, not everybody can be in front of the charts all day, which is another conversation in itself. But just because you don't get something in the morning doesn't mean you completely give up on the day. And it also doesn't mean that you completely give up on your original idea. Whatever I see happen this morning, I'm going to take that information, I'm going to apply it to my original idea. If it lines up with it, I'll stick with my original idea and I'll look for the same thing in the afternoon. If it doesn't, and I notice, we're gravitating, we're slowly, like Monday, like this is a pretty slow Monday, so far, at least. But if I see, a different idea, or let me see, if market structure is different in the afternoon, then I will readjust. Or I might not even trade it all again. Like I said, if this thing is just screaming, screaming, screaming up with no retracements whatsoever, and in the afternoon we are so far extended, I'm not going to want to buy it still. And if it goes up from there, then I'll be doing the same thing that I'm doing here right now. Sitting, watching, and observing. My hands are underneath my buttocks. I'm sitting on my hands, and I'm not worried. That's the difference between somebody that is confident in their strategy and not. Because I'm confident in my strategy. I'm confident that it works. I'm confident that it's profitable. I'm confident that I'm going to get it. Maybe not this morning, but I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it one way or another. Let me see here. So I still would like to see it get below. I need it to get below these lows before I consider anything. And we are so close to this initial high that I don't see a reason why they can't run this. Am I going to chase it after they do? No. If they don't take it out and it rolls over again also, that's going to be a signature as well. Okay, I like that. I want it to get below the midpoint. I need it to break this low, get below the midpoint, and stay below the midpoint. That's what I would like to see. Okay. We are back into the opening range gap, I believe. Yep. Hit the high of the opening range gap, which is the opening price at 930. Let's see if we can't drive down into it. Like I said, take out this low and ultimately this low. And then from here, we already had it marked out. I deleted it. I'll put it back up here so you can see it. So there's the opening range again. Like I said, we're still on the premium side, so it's what we would want if we're bearish to enter into in a premium, but it hasn't shown us a willingness that it wants to go lower. If it breaks this high, I'm pretty much going to be done for the morning probably, and I will probably close the stream out. Let me put it like this. If it takes out this high by 10:30, then I will close the stream. Or I'm not even streaming. I'll end the video because I've been on here almost an hour and a half now, and it's done absolutely nothing. And I don't see, I don't want to, like I said, there's a difference between, spectating and studying price on good days with price action, and there's also, times when you should know when just to walk away and, come back later. And that's what, if it breaks that high, that's what I'm going to do. Because I don't see it coming, any lower. We're already almost too late in the morning session for me to consider taking a trade. I mean, my cutoff is 11 o'clock let me put it this way, for a directional run in the morning. My cutoff is 11 o'clock. I can still take trades past 11 o'clock, but as far as looking for a run in the morning, I want to enter before 11 o'clock. Did it take out that high? Yes, it did. Okay, like I said, I want to see it get below this low. And this low. Okay, sorry again. Anyways, so got below this low, but did it show a willingness that it wanted to stay below it? No, it just wicked right through it. Where did the body close? Above. First of all, it even closed above this candle's close. So I'm still not. All right, that ain't bad. I like that. I like that. I want it to gravitate towards these lows here, please. We also have a breaker right here. High, low, higher, high. So which candle is it? It's like this candle right there. I think we're back down into the high of the opening range as well. See, the reason why I'm not taking a long is this, right here. I am not believing, and like I said, they could have just done that on purpose to get me to think like that. Yeah, they could have. But my experience, because, I have it on the right candle, right? Yep, 8:30. Because my experience tells me this is not going to be left like that. Okay, it ran these highs again after taking this liquidity. Where is it more than likely going to draw towards? Boom, right there. Okay, that is going to complete the morning session for me. I am done. Because, I mean, look at this. Do y'all like that? Y'all like that? Just up, down, up, down. Look at all this balanced, this is a very balanced price range. Or, yeah, this is a very balanced price range. Because there's not a lot of inefficiencies. There's this small one right there. And technically, yes, that is, if you wanted to take that trade, if your bias was bullish, that's, yeah, that's the setup that I would. Now, look at that. Is that precise? Yeah, it's pretty precise. But look at all these wicks. Would you be comfortable taking this trade, having your stop right there, and these wicks just coming down 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, stabbing down 5 times? Would y'all be able to take that? I don't know if I'd be able to handle, that. But the reason why this would be my setup is because we have first presented fair value gap. We have displacement above it. We have a fair value gap completely outside, not touching the first presented fair value gap. We have liquidity right here. And so if your bias was bullish, which mine was not, you could take that trade. And this is what it would look like. So you would, depending on where you would enter, come on. I would, I'm just going to put it right on the high. Or this candle's low. And let's say you just get in on this candle right here. Boom, you're in. And then you aim for this high right there. How long did that take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 minutes. 18 minutes to go from here, from your entry, 25,638, 25,672, 40 handles, 30 something and change, and it took 20 minutes. Now, study that, and also, whenever you backtest, if you took this trade, if I was to take this trade, I'd go back and I'd write down and take note of how I was feeling, how long it took, like I said, how much heat I took against me, yeah, how confident I was throughout the trade. This is all things that, you should be doing whenever you're backtesting. But for me, this is the only, because this was after news dropped, after 10 o'clock, and this is the only setup that would make sense to go up there. And it's not clean whatsoever, because then it dips down here, dips down there. Yeah, I wouldn't be comfortable whatsoever. After it did this, I probably would have rolled my stop to there, and then when it dipped down there, I probably would have been worried still again, because... And for this little of movement, for this type of price action, it's just not worth the mental capital. And that wasn't where I was wanting price to go. Or that wasn't where my analysis, was telling me. Which is fine. Like I said, I'm not going to do something unless it makes sense to me in my model. And if this made sense to you, then perfect. You can do that. You can take that trade. You're profitable today. Congratulations. Now, can you do it consistently, day in and day out? And I say day in and day out, but you don't need to take a trade every day also. Like, my morning session is done. And depending on, what I see going into the lunch hour or, leading up to 1:30, which is the start of PM session for me, that's going to determine whether I even take a trade or not. And I might not. Is that, does that mean that I'm less of a skilled trader as somebody else that did take a trade and is profitable today? No. Because when you start comparing yourself to other traders and This is why I think, you know, using a lot of other people's knowledge to, or let me say, opinions. And I know I'm live streaming right now, or not live streaming, but I'm making a video commenting on price action right now. But, man, the best advice is the advice you can give yourself. Don't take anybody else's advice. Unless it's like 100%, you know, a fact about the markets, which confluences are. I'm sorry. An order block is an order block. A fair value gap is a fair value gap. Equilibrium is equilibrium. These are I don't know what these are actual, like I said, things in the chart, levels in the chart, or confluences. Like, it's not an opinion. This is an order block. This is a fair value gap. This is a rejection block. This is a breaker. This is a swing high. This is a swing low. This is equilibrium. It is what it is. That is where, you listen. But if somebody says, yeah, look what it's doing right now. Do you want to trade this? Like, if you are foaming at the mouth right now, or itching, or crawling in your skin that you haven't taken a trade yet, and it's 10:34, and let's say, I don't know, you're working part-time, and your shift starts at 11, and it's 10:35 right now, and you're like, I gotta go. I gotta go to my job that I hate, that I'm trying to leave, but I haven't taken a trade yet. My bias was bearish. Let's say your bias was the same as me. My bias was bearish, and it's not going down. It's going up, though. So I think I'll just decide to buy it. And you buy it. And I'm not saying, it goes against you or you lose or whatever. Could win the trade. Could happen. But think about the mentality of that. Think about the way that you're thinking. That is impulsive. That is toxic. And that is what's going to be the downfall of you as a trader. I don't know how many times that I made that mistake. And it took me so long for me to break that habit. And you know what honestly helped me? Doing stuff like this. Because when you're trading, and this is the last thing that I'll say, because I said I was going to close it at 10:30 and it's 6 minutes past. When you're trading, I mean, it's very tough because you're alone. And, the only person that is going to make the decision is you. There's nobody else that's going to help you out and, hold your hand and be like, no, wait, be patient. No, it's all on you, which is why this business is so hard. So when I was learning how to be patient, I would record myself. Like I had an audience like this, so like something very similar to this. Or I wouldn't record myself, but I would talk out loud like this. I would give my commentary, give my analysis out loud. Let's see. Opening range gap? No. Okay, where is the opening range gap? Okay, so told you it could have spiked up into this opening range gap. It hasn't done that yet. It stopped short of it. So where is the next stop? If it's still bullish, up here. Does it have to go up there? No, it doesn't. Am I interested in it? Not until it still gets below these lows. Because on the 5-minute, that would let me know that this thing would still want to gravitate towards the middle. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna finish up what I said. So do something that is going to uh, allow you the freedom to tell yourself it's okay that I don't get a trade in today, or I don't place a trade in today. Do something that, you can keep yourself accountable to. And once I finally got to that point, I was a lot more confident in my abilities as a trader. Uh, but I digress, and it's 10:39, so I'm I got other stuff to do today. I'm sure you have other stuff to do. I don't know when you're going to be watching this though, but I wanted to start doing this again, not because I want to come out here and just show off that I can call price action, but for a reason that I want to, and this is the actual reason, and you'll never know or be 100% sure why, and I probably won't say it out loud, but just know I'm here to help you. I'm talking to you, and you know who you are. I'm here to help you. And I know it's tough, and I know we fight, and this might be boring, so if you're done with the video, you can close it out, but just stop for a minute and be happy that you have the opportunity to do this. Because if you take it for granted, or you treat it like it's just by chance, it's a gamble. Like if you just treat it as a gamble, like, oh, if I lose, I lose. If I win, I win. It is what it is. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing until, I come out on top. Well, if you're not already consistently doing the right thing, what's going to change? What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you keep doing that, what's going to change? So that's what I'm going to leave you with. Do you think you're going to change if you keep doing the same thing that you're doing? And shutting people out is not the answer, especially the ones that know or see the potential that is within you as a trader. And I see a lot of potential. So stay with it. I'm always here, and don't feel like you're in this alone. So that's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow, probably. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to make another video or not. I'm going to try to be consistent with these, but this video will probably be up by the end of the night, so that way you can use it as like a backtesting session if you were watching the morning session live. But anyways, we'll get this started back up again. Try to be more consistent, and we will catch y'all in the next video. Be safe.